Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Four Corner Sports. I'm your host, Brandon Pockers, joined by Austin Kane, Gabe Arena, and Zach Maddock. Well, it's been a long time, but we finally are back. And our hiatus, a lot has happened in every single sport. We do not have enough time to talk about everything that has happened, but from our long break, we are going to talk about some stuff, and we will get right to it. So, what sport do you guys want to start with? Because really, I didn't plan anything out, and I'm fine just rolling with anything.
Yeah, NFL, since there's not as much to talk about, let's just get through that first.
Okay, NFL. I'm going to spin this wheel. No, I'm kidding. I don't have an actual wheel of topics in my room. To start with the NFL, opt-outs. Opt-outs are happening fast and furious, specifically with a team in the AFC East that I'd rather not mention. Here's a hint. They won a lot of Super Bowls. It's not the Jets. I promise. It's not the Jets. But this team's New England. New England's had a lot of guys opt out, whether it's from health issues or possibly having a kid. A lot of opt-outs. You also had some other serious ones like Damian Williams, C.J. Mosley, which that one stung a lot. But really diving into it, guys, what's our view on the amount of guys that have opted out of this NFL season so far? Is it a lack of protocols? Is it just a nervousness for family members that could be affected, or could it be something else entirely?
I'll tell you what. With some guys, it's definitely just they want to be safe and cautious. Like guys like Marquise Goodwin, whose wife has had 3 miscarriages, and they have a baby girl. Like obviously he wants to be careful about it because anything can happen. But with the Patriots, I don't know. Maddock and I were talking about this. There is no way that all the 8 of those Patriots players have just opted out for those reasons, for safety reasons. Bill Belichick is planning a tanking season, and they're going to draft Trevor Lawrence next year.
Conspiracy theorist over here.
We've seen Belichick do crazier things. And in all honesty, it wouldn't surprise me if he's telling his older guys, opt out, take a year of rest, get yourselves ready to go for next season, and we'll have Trevor Lawrence in.
That's not bad, a bad conspiracy, because it's very possible Bill Belichick, who knows what he's going to do. As you see, most of the guys, or all of them, are veterans, so it's very possible, but there is some level of concern. Every player you're in contact with someone, so you never know. But yeah. Belichick could have something up his sleeve.
The thing I don't get, though, about the NFL and the new rules is that they get to hit each other and tackle each other for 60 minutes. After the game, they're not allowed to swap jerseys or shake hands with each other. What is that going to do?
Nothing at all.
Hey, the coronavirus doesn't go through your skin contact. It's actually what's on your jersey. That's what gives it off. That's what the NFL is saying.
That's what Goodell thinks.
Oh man, we've been back for less than 5 minutes, and we're already peddling conspiracy theories in the NFL. But in all seriousness, the deadline for opting out, it's this Thursday.
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock, as Austin just broke here on the podcast.
I had no idea.
Just say it.
Yeah, but going forward with that, guys have already come out, specifically another member of the Patriots, Devin McCourty, and has said that this deadline's too soon, which I'm inclined to agree, because these players, they haven't even seen what the year is going to even entail, the travel, which the travel is the most important part, as we see with the MLB, which we will get to later in this podcast. And practicing with your teammates after you play the games. So if you can't opt out after that, you're dealing with a player base that's like, well, I could be fine now, but maybe 3 weeks into the season, I'm like, this isn't worth it. Why am I doing this?
Yeah, they're not allowing for Jonas Cespedes.
As a fan standpoint, as just a fan of football, having the deadline now, you can't hate it because you get to see who's going to be there. For us personally, we have our fantasy draft coming up. You know who's going to be on the board, who's not going to be on the board. But for the concern of the players, I agree it's definitely way too early. They have no idea how the games are even going to be played. They're not going to be in a bubble because that's pretty much impossible with the NFL. And I guess we'll see how it goes, but definitely a little too early.
Yeah. I think that it came too early, but I mean, NFL season's coming up quicker than we want to say. I mean, we're a month out by now?
Yeah, we're already in
Season's
training camps. It's not like
I mean, they have to give a point at that point. Like, I can't believe the MLB is actually allowing Cespedes, just using that as an example, to actually opt out where it's going on. Like, I feel like you saw training camp, make your decision, you're in, you're out. I know, of course, extenuating circumstances can happen and something can change, but for the most part, once Thursday 4 p.m. hits, I know it's a little early for some of the guys, but once you're in, get locked in and get ready for a full football season.
Now, off that point, right? Would you would have a list of like extenuating circumstances, like let's say you're having a kid in the middle of the season, right? Like you would
Like
put
Trout.
exactly like Trout.
Yeah,
That's
just
fine,
like,
that's the thing.
did Trout opt out or is he
No,
No, he's coming back.
he's coming back.
just making sure? Gonna say that'd be kind of ridiculous.
But yeah, off of all those points, it's like, yeah, you really have to make a decision, but people's minds can change. And really, for selfish reasons, we could think it's a good idea. Like a fantasy player is going to think this is great because they're not going to get screwed later in the year. But for these NFL guys that are actually playing and putting their, I don't want to say lives on the line, but in some cases it's their family members' lives. They may have to make a tough decision down the road, and really I don't think that's something they should have to wrestle with. But moving on, MLB. If there's one league the NFL has to learn from, it's the MLB. Now,
Yeah.
it's not the whole league. The whole league botched it all the way up until the season started with the whole negotiations. But the season started, I would say, a few weeks ago. Probably three weeks ago. And it was running swimmingly for a grand total of 3 games.
Yeah.
3 games. And then the Miami Marlins strike. Now, these Miami Marlins, they didn't get sick from playing the games. They went out to clubs and partied in Miami, which, by the way, is the epicenter of the entire world, not the country, the world for this pandemic. And the expected outcome occurred. Half the Marlins organization has COVID. And that didn't just cripple Miami. That crippled Philadelphia, which in turn crippled New York, which in turn crippled Baltimore. You see the chain. You see the pattern that is going on. And now you have the Cardinals. The Cardinals just broke protocol. They went to a casino. So now you're affecting the Brewers, and now you're affecting this team. It's this snowball effect that it got so bad that the league itself told its broadcasters today, as early as today, to have alternate programming ready to go in case the season has to get shut down. So working off of that, what do we think about how baseball has handled the COVID crisis in playing their sport? Because these teams, most of them are following protocols. But you have 1 or 2 bad apples, and the whole thing topples like a bunch of Jenga blocks.
Well, 2 words for the Marlins and the Cardinals. I think it's selfish and disgusting. Not to turn to Stephen A here, but it's kind of ridiculous. How could you possibly go out like that knowing that you decided to play this season? If you wanted to go out, opt out, do whatever the hell you want. But you decided to play. You knew what you were doing. You knew you were going to be traveling to other cities and states. It's ridiculous. I mean, I just don't get how you could put other teams and players and their families and your own family in a position like that when you said you were all in and ready to go. It's ridiculous.
I mean, it's just some of it's got to fall on the players as well as the management. I mean, I'm almost saying like for some of these like more at-risk players in like the NFL, you see with like they're literally putting babysitters on Josh Gordon and Antonio Brown and guys like that. Like throw babysitters on these guys. Like the second they leave wherever they're going, if it's the Marlins, Jeter, Manning should be called. If it's the Cardinals, I don't know off the top of my head who manages them, who runs them, but like those guys should be called and people should be like telling them, no, you can't go. There should be fines. There should be like actual consequences to what they're doing here besides missing baseball games.
100%.
Because they're just allowing it to now be winning percentage if you can't play your 60 games or whatever. There should be actual consequences to what you're doing here.
It's like, how do you lose track of a guy? You're an organization. You understand how fragile this season is. If you're the Cardinals, you literally just saw what happened with Miami. You literally just saw that half the organization got it. So you're going to be selfish and be like, yeah, you know what? That's not me. I can't have that happen to me. And guess what? It did happen to you. Unbelievable.
I don't know what goes through your head to just think it's okay to do that. Like, there has to be, like Maddox said, certain consequences that keep these guys out of it. Fine them, take their money, take some of their contract away, something.
Suspend the damn teams.
Yeah.
Suspend them.
Give
Take
them automatic losses.
Exactly. You put the whole season at risk. There needs to be a punishment. That goes back to MLB just has a punishment issue because they didn't punish the Astros, but they punished Joe Kelly because, he misfired a fastball and a slider.
No, he didn't. He did not misfire. That was so intentional.
And I'm glad it was. They deserve every single.
Yeah, of course they deserve it, but 8 games, that's equivalent to like 22 this year. Come on.
I mean, he if anything gets suspended one because you could tell there was intent behind it. Suspended 1 or 2 games, especially this season.
Yeah, not 8. Not 8.
The Astros.
You see MLB fans everywhere backing up Joe Kelly because everyone knows that's what they deserve. They got no suspension, or barely any punishment. What, they fined him $1 million? What is that to an organization? Nothing.
It's like
Especially after the one that wins the World Series, all the money that comes in and stuff like that. Like it's
Pump change.
$1 million is what you make in jersey sales that day after you win the World Series for the bandwagoners.
it's literally like taking the schoolyard bully after he beats the crap out of like 10 kids in the school and having the principal walk with him outside of school so he doesn't get jumped. I mean, it's basically that. But with baseball, I thought it'd be a good idea to give a little bit of rundown of how our favorite teams are doing, which isn't much for 3 of you guys.
The Phillies play 3 games, and they're currently losing 6-1 right now, as of 3 minutes ago.
Yeah. Judge isn't in a homer yet, but we've given up 3 homers so far. Everything's been a homer, well, except for the double.
The Judge or Stan?
Where Judge scored.
Wait, did Stan?
No, it's Urshela, Gardner, and LeMahieu. I said all.
You had to be like the leadoff. Oh my God! Wait.
Judge wouldn't hit a homer, but everyone else would play well.
He did say this.
Currently, the Mets are they're a disgrace. If I'm going to be completely honest,
That's always.
Yeah.
I can hold on to this lineup in DeGrom, but we can't hit in clutch situations. Our bullpen is like pouring gasoline onto a dumpster fire. And half our starting rotation is just scrap heap. So that's all I'm going to say about the Mets today. Moving on to the NBA. NBA, unlike the MLB, is in a bubble. And as we've seen with the NBA and NHL, bubbles work. They're nice. They're fun. And most of all, there are no COVID cases. So we're all happy about that. And It's off to a rocking start. I've seen some crazy games. Most recently, yesterday, the Boston Trailblazers game. Oh, man, that ending was sweet. Watching Dame and McCollum versus Brown and Tatum. That was beautiful basketball to watch. And I'm sure Maddox, Austin, and Gabe can back me up on this. I'm really happy to just have basketball on. And it's going so smooth. It's going great.
See, the bubble works so well with NBA and NHL. It's great to see. You see 0 COVID cases. What did 2 people leave the campus with no?
Will left to get his wings.
Yeah,
brings it down.
Yeah, there's a little more to that story, but we're fairly friendly here.
I'm gonna touch on that. He actually did get the wings. Apparently, the wings are like one of the best in Atlanta. I've seen multiple people say this, that in a city like Atlanta, you go to the clubs to get food. It's like commonplace practice. For us up here, we would never go to a club just to get food, but the lifestyle down south in Atlanta, it's just different. So
yeah.
I'll tell you what, though. He may have gotten wings, but he definitely got something else, too.
It was wings with the side of a 6-foot dance.
All right. Getting off the Lou Williams topic. It is working. You see the guys are having fun. Yeah, definitely sucks. They won't see their families for about 3 months if you make it all the way. But it's working. It's what they did sign up to do. And yeah, it's just definitely working, and you see everything running smoothly. All the games are happening, and it's great to see.
Most of the games have been very good as well. I mean, a lot of close ones, overtimes, plays look sloppy at certain times, but that was expected. But I just think overall quality of basketball has been good, and I've been very happy with what I've been seeing with some great games early, like the early matchups having the Lakers and Clippers play on the first night was great, or second night. I mean, first night, right?
First night, yeah.
That was first night, yeah.
First night.
I mean, it's great to see everything back and to watch. I think what is the most entertaining sport to be able to watch at all times. It's great.
Now that we're all in agreement that the bubble is working for this short amount of time, do we think it could work for a full season? Because to be realistic, I don't know if COVID's going to be enough in check to have fans back in the stadiums and having full travel for an NBA season. But if the bubble works for this amount of time, do we think it could work for a full NBA season? I want to hear your thoughts.
I think it's definitely a possibility, especially since the next season's starting in December. Who knows what's going to happen? There's supposed to be a second wave coming, so I mean, I'm sure that the teams themselves don't want to play in a bubble again. They want to have their fans back, want to play in their home cities, but like you got to make sacrifices, especially if you want to like have your fans watch you play at some capacity. I'm sure
the Sixers can't even get fans in there till February, so it really doesn't
Yeah,
for some
it's gonna be good.
It's going to be interesting where you might go into some games where one stadium's got 25% capacity and then they go on the road and there's no one there.
I think it could work. It definitely could work, 100%.
Yeah.
But you can't take, like I said before, you can't take guys away from their families for, 8 months?
Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah.
It's terrible. I mean, you'd have to give them at least a 2-month break somewhere in between.
Or I'm sure they can, maybe by next season, they can have their families come with them. Especially since we're seeing in the bubble, there's no positive tests coming out.
Yeah.
So I'm sure.
I just don't see, you can't lock your family in there with you. Kids got to go to school. I mean, people have stuff to do.
Spend all day in Disney.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, but we'll see.
I mean, I really think they're going to have to play it by ear at this point.
Yeah.
Because think about it. Disney has to open up at some point. They make money by having visitors actually stay in those places, right?
Yeah, tourists and stuff.
Not number two thing. You got the NBA players, like you guys said, 8 months is a really long amount of time. That's almost an entire year. And you don't want to take people you don't want to take people away from their families for that amount of time. And really the third thing, it's like guys, I mean, it just I don't know if it'll work for a full season because it's hard. But at the end of the day, guys want to play basketball. We're seeing that now, and I feel like certain guys would sacrifice it all just to be on that court, just to do what they love.
Yeah, they want to be there, I feel like, but it would definitely just be tough. But just glad to see the game back on.
Yeah, that's true. It's always good to see that.
And I think that just overall, this bubble works now, but it's just not something that's feasible an entire season. Yeah, maybe the first half of the season, just when everything can start to open up, but there's no way through a full NBA season they can be stuck in Florida, even if they're able to have their families there.
I mean, unless they do a shortened game schedule, which I really don't see happening. That's too much revenue lost. Then it probably wouldn't work out.
Millions a night.
Exactly. Is there anything else we want to touch on with the NBA?
Yeah, I mean, just getting off the COVID topic of it, I just want to hear, who do you guys think has looked the best so far? And going forward, who do you think is going to take control of the bubble?
Well, I'll tell you what. If you guys remember about a month ago when we were talking about this, I think probably during our last podcast, I was saying how Sixers are going to win it all. If you let T.J. Warren drop 53
out the window,
a career high 53, T.J. Warren, if you let him drop that much, you're not going to win anything.
Team's a joke. Get rid of Brett Brown.
Get rid of Elton Brand.
Both.
Josh Harris, how about that? Get rid of all three.
They're winning by 2 right now, but who knows?
It's the Sixers. They're gonna blow it anyway in the third quarter.
Should be blown out.
Also, we need to get Al Horford out of Philadelphia. He was a minus 26 the other night.
Oh my goodness gracious.
24 minutes.
Plus minus 26. Jesus.
Okay,
He hasn't,
so
he hasn't missed a shot tonight. He got 7
What did
points.
you shoot? 1 for 1? Yes, man.
Feet away.
3 for 3, and he's got a 3-pointer.
He is a professional basketball player. He should be able to shoot the ball.
okay, to divert from Sixers minute over here, I'm gonna say the Nuggets. Nuggets have looked really good. Bol is literally a unicorn,
It's coming out.
doing everything on the offensive and defensive end.
The anti-rocket.
And tonight, Michael Porter was the first player to have 30 points and 15 boards since Carmelo Anthony, the first Nuggets rookie.
I was gonna say, like, what? Like, I've
He-
30 points, 50 boards.
That team has so much young talent on the rise and is already there. They're going to be a power in the West for years to come if they keep that group together. I mean, you got what? Murray, Porter, Jokic, Bol,
Gary Harris, man.
Gary Harris. Like
Sounds
this,
like a lot, but they're only 7 games out of first. But that's what the Lakers and Clippers in front of them, who are 2 powerhouses. You don't ask anyone who a powerhouse team is, they're not going to say the Nuggets.
I mean,
The
if the Nuggets can score and play lockdown defense, they'll have a chance. I mean, look what Toronto just did to LA. I mean, that was a display and a half right there. They literally put the clamps on LeBron and Davis. There was a stat at halftime that the two of them combined had like 14 points. The Raptors were just harassing them that entire game.
Here's the thing about the Raptors. They didn't win last year solely because of Kawhi.
How?
Well, they did win because of Kawhi, because of that lucky shot. But they won because they have great team chemistry and they can play well against any and every single team. And they're not a team like the Sixers where they play well against good teams and they play like shit against, excuse my language, sorry. They play like shit against bad teams. Like they play their level of basketball every single night. They don't play down to the level of their competition, which is why I think they're a powerhouse. I think they could easily win the finals again this year.
Going back to our predictions, I think we slept on Toronto. I really think we did. I didn't. I guess I was a little off with my basketball watching during the regular season before it got paused, but that Toronto team's very good. They have a lot of talent. I mean, Siakam, Anunoby, Lowry. I mean, this team's legit.
Yeah, definitely legit, 100%. I only see like a few teams that could just beat them flat out, but they definitely have a great shot this year coming out of the East.
It'll be tough to beat them in a 7-game series. So we'll see. And I don't know. I'm gonna change my prediction. I do not think the Sixers are gonna go to the finals.
Not a shot.
We'll be lucky to get to the second round, honestly, unless they start.
Brett Brown, if we don't get to the second round, if we don't get past the second round this year.
The problem is we all know why we all thought highly of the Sixers. It's because of the amount of talent they have. But sometimes all the talent in the world can't make up for terrible coaching. And I don't know as much as you guys, but I guess the talent isn't making up for the mishaps on the coaching side of things.
It's not all on the coaching. A lot of it's on the coaching. But you got to remember, like, these guys were thrown together over the offseason, did not get to play a full season together to build chemistry. Well, you got guys like Embiid, Simmons, and Tobias that can play well together. But then you got a new guy in the starting lineup, Shake Milton. Like, he has played more than 5 games with these guys.
Like, dude had one good game and everyone overhyped him.
Yeah. It was the Clippers, though, so Pac, you got to go see your room there, man.
No, so, I mean, yeah, it was the Clippers, but, I mean, look, TJ Warren's gone off for 2 games, and everyone's hyping that he's going to be the best player in the club. I mean, it's just the Sixers need some consistency, and they need to just –
That's what they don't have. They never get consistency.
That's the problem. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand how you go best team at home and then, like, be the second worst team on the road. Just Like, do the Sixers need to have a guy in the stands just boo them consistently to make them play well?
They need their six man. You know the old guy who always sits courtside?
Yeah, the old guy. He's a legend.
Yeah.
He like owns like properties and just somehow has courtside seats every game.
Man, love that life.
Yeah. Okay, next topic.
So,
Yeah.
as Maddox said, moving on, we got the NHL. NHL is off to a raring start, too, in a bubble. As we saw reported today, from July 17th to August 1st, there were over 4,000 COVID tests, coming out to a grand total of 0 positive tests. Amazing how the NHL and the NBA have handled themselves. You would never think the NHL would be one of the best leagues to handle this, but here we are.
I don't know about that one, Brandon. NHL players are a bit different breed. They just want to play their hockey and get home. That's all they really
I'm talking about like commissioner and ownership. I'm talking about that.
Because they know how to run the league. That's why.
Yeah. The players, yeah, I agree. They're a different breed. Can't ever count out an NHL player. I'm fully on board with that notion.
Yeah, I mean, I like the bubble idea, and plus they have 2 bubble cities, so it's not like they're all just crammed into one. And they have... Sorry, I thought of somebody.
But yeah, so NHL, the bubble's working great. We've seen great games. Saw the Penguins lose the other day, which is great to see.
Watch the Flyers put in a great performance.
Flyers
And
played the best they had. They just picked it up where they were. Great.
Lightning looked good today. It was good to see. And anytime you beat a team that has TJ Oshie in a shootout, it's a good day.
That is true.
Matt, are you a Lightning fan, or you just...
I'm a Flyers fan. My uncle works for the Lightning as an advertiser, so I have some ties there as well.
Right. Word up.
All right. So like I did with the MLB, I want to get a basically summary of all our favorite teams and how they're doing so far. Like I did with MLB, I'll start first. Maybe I didn't start with MLB. Really?
I mean, you are the only person who is not a Phillies fan out of the 4 of us, and you're the only person not a Flyers fan out of the 4 of us.
I know,
Yeah.
but I gotta make it sound good. But hey, it's all good. The Rangers are down 2-0 to the Carolina Hurricanes. Their offense is a little bit stalled, but I've watched both games really all the way through. Carolina's goalie is a different breed right now. He's
Not like Carter Hart.
He's literally stopping every single shot in sight. Carolina's defense is very pesky, and their offense is on point. And Igor Shashevsky has not been in net due to a minor injury. That's been a blow because as much as I love Henrik, he's not the same guy he used to be.
He used to be a beast.
That's been a damper on us. And to give my honest assessment, probably don't see it going much further for the Rangers. So
I'll tell you what, though. About the Flyers, I don't think they're gonna lose a fucking game. A freaking game. Sorry.
You can curse. It's fine. I really don't care.
Oh, well, Maddox said 20 minutes ago we were a family-friendly podcast. We are not. Clearly.
Family friendly in most aspects. I mean, and most. Yeah.
We try our best.
Yeah, we try our best. It's hard work.
It just depends on your family.
Sports rile us up.
No, like I'll tell you what, the Flyers looked unbelievable yesterday against the Bruins. Yes, like
One of the best hockey they played.
yeah. I mean, if they play like that, they're not going to lose a game.
Just one game the whole time and walk their way to the Stanley Cup. Will that happen? I don't know. We're talking about Philly sports here. We know how that goes, up and down roller coasters. But it would be nice to see.
Yeah, I mean, well, we'll see. Like you just said, it is Philly sports, so anything can happen, and something bad will probably happen. I don't not to jinx anything. Knock on some wood somewhere. But we'll see. We'll just take it one game at a time.
Yeah.
Yep. And highlight of the Flyers. Very nice to see Oscar Lindblom back out there beating cancer. So
Yeah.
That's amazing. No matter what team you cheer for,
Yeah.
amazing. No matter what team.
Love to see that.
Our one friend Luke LeBoyne, shout out Luke if you're listening to this.
Hey, Luke, if you're watching,
He
fuck the Bruins.
he texted me yesterday. He was like, "You watching the Flyers game?" I go, "I will be. Yeah, it'll be on at work." And he was asking about Limbo. I'm like, "Dude, I'm like, I know you're traveling. I'm not sure he's gonna play there." He goes, "Yeah, like, it'll be fun to see him back out there. Like, it's an incredible journey." I'm like, "Yeah, man." So at least fans of every team can respect that journey back.
Yeah, Luke, if you're watching this again, you told me that the Bruins would beat us. Sorry, that did not happen. You guys got absolutely wiped.
Yeah.
All right, so those are the four major sports. Our quick whip around.
Baby.
Yep, exactly. The four cornerstones of American sports. But that's gonna be it for our show.
Okay.
Make sure to follow us on all our socials. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube page, and coming soon, very soon, a new Anchor page. So Anchor is basically gonna help distribute our podcast, and we're gonna be on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So very exciting for us, and honestly can't wait to put it out there. Gonna try and bring some new effects, new sounds, and overall just make it a better podcast experience for everyone that's listening. So for myself, Austin Kane, Gabe Arena, and Zach Maddock, thank you for joining us on another episode of Four Corner Sports. And as I always say, stay classy.
Thank you.